think he lived.
As a matter of fact, that was.
No more room in hell. The dead walk here.
What's up, horror fiends? It's your boy, Ricky Grimes. I am back with the three corners of horror. Let me introduce you to our panel today. First up, the man, the myth, the legend, JR. What's up, brother?
Man, apologize for missing last one. Still was under the weather, still a little. But hey, Evil Lurks, still the best film of 2023. And we doing another international film. Man, was it Sister Death or Sister Too Many Acts?
Yeah, it's 4 acts, right? Was it
Three.
4? 3? Oh. What up, Joe the psychologist?
What's up? What's up? Yeah, I'm good. Tonight I came prepared with hot chocolate because I needed something sweet for the saltiness I got, and I needed something to keep me awake as we try to discuss this movie.
You tired, Joe?
Mm-mm.
Joe's never tired.
The movie almost put me to sleep.
Oh, okay. I see. I see. I'm going to be on my own on this one. What we will be discussing tonight is the 2023 film Sister Death, written and directed by PACO PLAZA. The film stars Aria Bedmar as Sister Narcisa. JR, I'm gonna start with you first since you missed last week and I'm dying to hear your thoughts. Let's go, man. This was your pick, so what's good, brother?
Yeah, this one, we did a lot of movie reviews last year, and there's some films we missed, some films that we didn't think about talking about. Now we're starting to play catch up with some films. But yeah, I seen this one on Instagram. Somebody put it as one of their top films for 2023. It's definitely a slow burn. I would say it takes about almost to the end of Act 1 to really start setting gear. But I'll admit I do appreciate the storytelling in this film. So, ta-da, Joe. No, but this film, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't read anything about it. I didn't watch the trailer. I went in basically fresh, not knowing anything. And it was a timepiece. The first thing I thought of, if you know anything about the children of Medellin, it kind of reminded me a little bit of it.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that story is, there were 3 kids who were in this small village, and they went up to this hill and they thought they seen the Virgin Mary, and it became something where a lot of religious people would go and visit these kids. So that's the first impression I got in the film. But once it really it took a while for the paranormal, demonic to start kicking in. But I mean, for me, I think the actress who plays Sister Narcisa did an amazing job. She's very, very good. I mean, come on, it's a Plaza film, so we were curious about it too. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what you guys thought about this film. But yeah, definitely a slow burn that took time to start cooking.
Yeah, I could agree with that. How about you, Joe? I know
Yeah.
I know you already said you were bored, so I
Well,
know
was
the
it-
slow burn kicked in hard for you, bro.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. I fell asleep a couple times and I had to like rewind it, and I didn't even drink. I mean, I wasn't even really tired. I just sat there to watch the movie and just kept dozing off. And on the third time, the phone was in my hand. And when you fall asleep and you do that twitch, I launched that phone to my fucking face. I sat up and I'm like, all right, get it seated for the movie, because it's knocking you out a little bit. I think because the slow burn part, like the middle part was just missing so much that it just took a little bit long for me. And I don't know, with the title Sister Death, I didn't know anything about it either. But the title Sister Death, I was expecting, I guess, to see a lot of people dying in the convent and stuff like that wasn't going on. And I knew that it was going to be something paranormal, demonic. But, when the chair thing started happening, I figured out the chair thing kind of quickly, especially the way that it just kept falling. So you knew what happened with the chair. It wasn't like the chair was being flung across the room and what you see like in Poltergeist and stuff like that. It's just the way it kept falling. I'm like, all right, someone hung themselves in this room, so now we're going to find out, the sister why she hung herself. And just like it took a little bit long for me, and the movie was only an hour and a half, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
think you should give it a second watch. Honestly,
Oh, definitely.
I think you should.
I mean, again, I didn't hate it. I'm
You
just
know,
saying
yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
the slow burn part is
Yeah,
just
yeah,
because
it is slow burning.
me falling asleep in a movie I'm not a fan of, unless it's because I decided I put on a movie at 4 o'clock in the morning and I probably should have just gone to bed. But I mean, again, I didn't hate it. I like timepieces. I also like the director. The actress did great. I just felt like I just needed more to the movie that I think just kind of would have kept the pace a little bit better for me.
I mean, I love cinematography.
Yes.
What kept me engaged in this movie, especially the opening. I know Jared said it took a while to get started. To me, if a movie's slow but it starts and it hooks me immediately, that opening, the way it was shot, where it was, I don't know if it was like supposed to be like I mean, I don't think they had cameras back in that time.
I
But
think it was supposed to be 30s, 40s when it was
yeah,
shot.
it was
Yeah.
filmed in a way where it's supposed to be almost like you're like a third person witnessing what's going on here. And every time it was going to show you what this child was seeing, it would cut to the next portion. And I like that because it didn't show you what it was, but you were like, well, I want to know. What did she see? What's going on? And then when you saw that figure, in the beginning over that cliff, and I said to myself, "Damn, I thought immediately that's the devil. What's going on? What's that supposed to be?" I didn't realize they thought she was seeing like the Virgin Mary or something, and
Yeah.
they worshipped this girl, but she knew what she saw was demonic. She kept that inside all this whole time. But just the way that was put together, beautiful, and the movie is gorgeous. The atmosphere in it, especially like towards the end when she goes out with the eclipse. We'll get into that later, but it's just a gorgeous movie to look at. I think that's why I wasn't bored because I just kept looking at it. I love timepieces. Period pieces to me always draw me in, especially when the set design is on point. And I think, and it's a short film. It's an hour 30 minutes, and I know JR, we joked about it in the beginning. Too many chapters, but three acts.
I liked it.
Yeah, 3 acts. I think the way it was broken up was fine, and I always wanted to know what was going to happen next. I think Joe mentioned I kind of did wish there was a bit more like supernatural involved as far as, I don't need a high body count, but I wanted something like stakes. I wanted more stakes involved. But when one of the main characters somehow gets hanged, and that's near the end of the film, I'm like, okay, now it's picking up as far as now we're seeing the repercussions of all the shit that's been happening. I don't know. I like that. I was always engaged in the film, even if it was slow. I was saying to myself, damn, this movie is slow, but I just couldn't keep looking away because it's a gorgeous, gorgeous movie to look at. And I think the nightmare scenes, there's a couple in here, very well made, man, because I like the way it was shot. And one thing about this movie, it's very loud. I don't know what it is. I have my volume on my TV to a certain point, and I had to lower it. This movie was so fucking loud, bro. Even the most subtle things it was just so like ear piercing.
You know what it was? It's this movie had a score, but when I gave it credit for, the score didn't come on until it was needed.
Mm-hmm.
So those moments where there was no music,
that's
was the moments where she was usually by herself.
Yeah.
And the thing too is to go back to I joked about the acts in the beginning. If you break down the acts, the first act was basically her being seen as this holy person this whole time. The second act was her constantly questioning, knowing that she's not the person who people think she is. And then the whole third act was basically her being told that you're fake, you're false, you're nothing but a lie. So this was all on basically her growth of a character, which, I'm a fan of this girl.
I think that is why the movie it didn't drag down for me because it was broken up in 3 chapters, and you mentioned it. Each chapter was like a self-contained portion of the story itself. And to me, it kept it moving. But let's talk about that third act, though, JR, real quick. I'm gonna throw it to you first. Now, the third act is like you mentioned. That's when everything started to ramp up, especially when like I'll let you bring it up. But one of the characters, something bad happens to this character, which is the sister's fault. It was all her fault. And that is one thing I really did like, but I'll save that for later. Go ahead, JR. Let's talk about that third act.
Well, look at the way the acts kind of started to build up. You had the first act. How did the first act end? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember how it
Her finding out that she was going to be the bride.
it really started kicking in motion when she ate the 2 biscuits that had the eyeballs in it, and the lady told her, "You don't need eyes to see the truth." So from there, she started. The second act was her questioning herself this whole time. Now, her hearing the voices of the little girl, her the knocking on the door, the handmaid thing. Which let's go to the handmaid thing because one of the characters, Rosa, which you knew in the early portion of the film, this character is going to play a role as far as something with the sister. So she was the one who didn't want to warn the sister. Who remember when she wrote she wrote the name on the well before she started writing the name on the board, the way the girl was acting, when they're outside folding the sheets and stuff. She goes, "Oh, when you wrote, oh, don't say nothing." Shh. So she did take advantage of this little girl who basically knew like the history of this place the curse that resided in this place. And remember, there was a portion of this film where the girl was she seen something in the bathroom. She heard something in the bathroom, and what they do, they bring her down to a dungeon. The little girl gets brought down
Yeah,
to a
that was it.
dungeon.
You could tell this is like not like a modern
Yeah,
era.
but at that point you could tell, like, all right, there's something more deep in this place
Yeah,
that
that was
we're
yeah
not being
because
told.
the only 2 surviving members that were back in this church was the mother and sister. I forgot her Irene. Is no
Julia,
sister
Julia.
Julia. Her and the main mother. I forgot her name.
They
But
just Mother Superior.
yeah, those are the only 2 that knew the truth and were involved
Yes,
with what happened. So that makes sense. Yeah, Julia's death was
was
fucking
amazing.
awesome, bro.
I did not see that coming.
Bro.
I did not see that.
Sometimes I appreciate when a movie doesn't have a lot of gore and violence because when it does show something, it means that much more. And when I saw her fucking face, bro, that was good
No,
makeup.
and the thing is, they they died in the real world, but the attacks happened like in the dream state,
Yeah,
which was
everything that
awesome.
was happening to him in that dream state
Yes,
transferred over to the real
it
world.
was awesome because you had. I mean, you want to talk about what happened to Rosa before I jump in
Yeah,
on
go
that?
ahead, no, go ahead.
All right, so in this film, there's a hangman, and the thing is, when the last piece is, you say the person's name, and the last piece is put in, basically that person is cursed. So she had wrote Rosa, Rosa, Rosa on the board, but she also had Rosa help her draw the last hand,
That's dumb.
which I think was one of the fun scenes because I'm sorry, I haven't gone confessional in a long time. And after seeing all those eyeballs in the confessional booth,
That was
that
cool.
was an awesome scene
Some
too.
good imagery as well in
Yes,
this
Yeah.
film.
very very good imagery. Yeah, so they're looking for Rosa the whole time. Sister Julia's blaming Sister Narcisa because she's saying you put her in dangers. This is all your fault. This is all your fault. So they go back to the confessional booth because that's where she thinks she hears Rosa, and she goes to this whole thing where you hear, and that's another thing I loved in this film when she went to do confession. The voice of the father or the demonic
Creepy.
presence,
Very creepy, by the way.
very well
Yeah.
done. I rewatched it a couple times. Like, yo, I got to hear this dude talk, man. I'm like, yeah, I don't think
Awesome
I would.
voice,
Yeah, I
man.
don't think I would sit there and do a confession with that kind of voice. But yeah, it was and then what ends up finding out when they
What was
open the
actually
door.
creepy though was when you're in confession, you're not supposed to know who you're talking to, but
Yes,
somehow he called her by name, so
yeah.
he knew exactly who. Like, if it's me, I'm like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be anonymous. What the?
It reminded me a little bit of the witch in Black Phillip, that whole with the voice in the conversation. So I
Black
kind of
Phillip.
reminded me a little bit of that. But yeah, I mean, then they open the booth and there's Rosa basically. She hanged herself, or did she? That's a big question. But of course, you know that Sister Socorro is responsible. But yeah, I mean, the third act, I think it picked up its pace. It was more about Sister Narcisa finding out the truth after she was basically called a liar and a false
Yeah, yeah.
prophet this whole time. So I do like the whole aspect of her like coming like full circle and being the kind of like the holy person in a way she thought she was, but was she? That's always going to be the big question.
I'm mixed on the end of it, like the reveal of it all, because it wasn't really demonic. It left the question, why would she kill the little girl, if she's coming after the nuns? But what had happened was the convent slash school during the war, one of the Spanish wars, some of the military people came, pillaged it, and Socorro ended up getting raped. She got pregnant. She had the baby while there. The three sisters decided that she can't leave, so they were basically raising her there. So I'm like, okay, so maybe because she's part of a rape and this happened, she's got a demonic thing in her. Well, no. What happened was, I don't know, they were trying to give her a bath, or
She was sick.
she was sick, and they put her in a bath, and as she's
Yeah.
fighting, she hits her head. It's a complete accident, and they keep Socorro away from her. And then the chair, which, like I said, I figured out it was a suicide.
Yo, you're funny, dude. The most basic, not, I take it back. I don't mean basic, but some of the most obvious things goes over your head. But this, you actually picked up on. I give you points.
Yeah,
Good
I mean,
call.
so
I did not pick that up until
because it
revealed,
kept
but that-
falling
that's
the
a good
same.
show.
If
You
you
follow the same
if-
direction.
He's
every
right,
time.
he's
keep
right, yeah, yeah.
watching it, it
You're right.
falls the same way. So
You're
it's the
right.
same act repeated over. So I'm
You're
like,
right, yeah.
someone killed themselves, and that's what she did. So Socorro's been angry because basically the nuns to her killed her daughter. They could have maybe told her the truth, said it was an accident. Like, there's a whole lot that could have been avoided here.
Yeah.
To be honest
She
with
was
you,
already pissed off that they took her daughter away from her, though.
Well, she
Yeah.
knew her daughter died before they even told her.
Yeah. They didn't even get
Yeah.
to tell her. She just hung herself.
She knew. She
Yeah,
knew. She knew
yeah,
something
she
was
knew
wrong.
it. But so that's for me, because I don't know, like I didn't feel it was a strong enough with all the buildup we had going to the movie, slow buildup. I didn't feel that the reveal was kind of like a wow to me. Because I thought there was going to be demon parts. I don't know. I guess I went in thinking so much other stuff that didn't happen. I'll rewatch it again, guys. Like I said, I didn't hate it. It's just some of the stuff
No, I
towards the
agree
end
with you. Your
didn't
points
make
now,
sense.
I agree with you. I think it could have been done a bit better as far as
Yeah,
the
because it
demonic
was
force.
just there's it's a poltergeist essentially. It's a spirit who's angry and is trying to get back. So then, yeah, you guys said that they're in the dream place, and then it's happening in the real. And like, while I found that to be cool, it was a little bit back and forth, a little jarring.
It was jarring. Yes, I agree.
So on that part, because it's like it takes you in and out, in and out. So yeah, by the end, I was awake. I will at least admit that by the end I was fully awake. But the big twist of it all, it fell a little flat on me, only because I figured out that it was a suicide. But the reason for the suicide was like, okay, so it was a whole accident. So it wasn't that the kid was possessed, because it was consummated in act of violence. Like that's what I really thought at this point. I'm like, oh, they got to keep the child away, so there's something wrong with the child here. All right, we're gonna fight. No, there's nothing wrong with the child. She bashed her head on the bathtub. I would have moved the chair after it would have done
I
that
would
the
have got rid of
second
it. I
time.
would have got rid of
Right.
it.
I mean, like, honestly, I'm like, yeah, it would have been gone. Like, why keep putting back in the same spot? You see it keeps fucking falling over. Like, get rid of that shit. Like, yeah.
This film is a prequel to another film, Veronica, another PACO PLAZA production. He wrote and directed that one as well. This is a prequel to that film. Joe, have you seen Veronica prior to this?
No, I have not.
Haven't seen it at all yet?
I heard of it. I have not seen it though.
It's one of those movies. I remember when Veronica came out. This to me started. Well, it was one of the films that started this trend where Netflix movies would come out, and the advertisement on the posters always got that, oh, the most scariest film you're ever gonna see, and this and that. And you watch it, you're like, come on.
That's what I did see that.
It
Yeah.
kills it. I mean,
I saw that on social media.
yeah.
So
But all right. I'm assuming. So you did not see this, so you do not know how it ties in to Veronica. I'm assuming.
I knew that. So I do know that at the end, because I guess they say her name, that the girl Veronica, that's the girl that's going to be in the Veronica from Veronica.
Yeah. In the school, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Veronica. So that same exact scene was taken from Veronica too.
I
Because-
wondered, like, so.
Yeah,
all
because
right.
when I
cool
watched
with
this,
it.
yeah, I as I'm watching this movie, I completely forgot it was a prequel to Veronica. So when the movie ends, and we have an elder sister and a sister now coming into frame into the classroom, I'm like, oh, she's blind. That's how she got blind. That's the
Blind.
oh my. I'm not saying it blew my mind, but the fact that I forgot it did blow my mind technically when I saw that. GR,
What did you think
you
of
see
Veronica?
Veronica, right?
I did see Veronica.
It wasn't bad, but I think that it overhyped.
The
They overhyped
overhype.
it. That's the problem. That's the
What.
problem.
Yeah.
They
It was
overhyped
one
it.
of the first film. Yeah, like I said, it was the
But
scariest
you seen
Netflix
it,
film of
so
all time.
do me a favor, if you can, other than the sister, was there any other tie-ins to that movie and Sister Death?
I don't think they were. I think it
I
was
don't think
just
so, right?
no.
Okay,
No.
that's why I completely forgot it was a prequel, bro, until the end.
So the
Yeah, 'cause
movie was
it-
basically her origin. That
Yes,
her character
Sister
introduced in
Death is an
Veronica.
origin. Yeah.
Yeah, Veronica wasn't scary at all. I mean,
It's worth watching though.
it was okay. I
just
mean,
don't
the
go.
cinematography, like this pauses a mess with
Yes.
cinematography.
Another thing, yeah,
Yes, it
Veronica,
was-
eye candy, the visuals.
Yes.
I mean, I'm gonna check it out because you know me. I if I see anything that involves sequels, I have to watch them all, even if they're gonna be bad.
Worth watching.
Yeah.
I would recommend it for you. Even if you don't like it, at least you get to say you saw it and you can put the movies together now.
Well, I have to because for
Yeah.
what we do, you have to see all horror movies.
I wonder where you heard that from. Even though it is a prequel to Veronica, I like this approach it took because it wasn't weighed down with trying to connect to Veronica other than giving you the origin story of the sister Death. And yeah, it didn't try too hard to connect the two films. Let's not try to connect them and let's just give you Sister Narcisa's origin. And again, I completely forgot that was the character's name. I forgot everything until the end when I saw the same actress come in. I'm like, wait a minute, that's the blind lady from Veronica? Okay, I forgot that's how it ties in. So, me on a personal level, I like that that's the approach they took because
Yeah.
it gave a more creative freedom with the
Yeah.
Sister Death film. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're not tied down with having to make all these connections into your other one,
Yep.
making it like a prequel because you have all these basically plot holes, or not plot holes, but things you got to put in to tie it all throughout the movie. One little shot at the end.
Yeah, brother.
That's all you need.
Yeah, I won't lie, man. After seeing this film, like I wanted to go back and watch Veronica just to see like. That's why I asked JR if they would tie together because I saw Veronica for 2, 3
I seen it when
years
it
now.
first came out.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
with the
yeah.
hype, I was like, "All right, I gotta watch.
It
this."
was hyped everywhere, and that started that
God.
trend where every single Netflix film that would come out, the scariest this, the goriest that, and you watch it like, come on, man, you're killing your own films. What the fuck are you doing? By the way, this film, Sister Death, was released in theaters on my birthday. That's pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, are we ready to close this out, guys?
Yeah.
All right, JR, give us your final thoughts. Give us your score. Anything else you want to add to the conversation, brother?
All right. So when I was watching this, I was wondering why it was split into acts, and then when
Me
she gets
too.
to the end, you're like,
Me too.
okay, I totally understand. I do like that approach, and I wish more movies would take that approach in a way because you're trying to rush to find out what's going on, and instead of taking your time and developing the character and then hitting you with everything that they're stuck with, and the fact that this whole film was basically about her being deemed a holy child, so she's living this lie this whole time, these expectations that people expected of her. And remember, the funny thing too is the fact that how the kids reacted when she was writing. Like she wasn't supposed to write at a time
They were
where,
scared, yeah.
yeah, at a time where, let's be honest, during these times, women were still not allowed to write in some countries. And the way they were acting, like, oh my god, all right, is he supposed to be doing this, or they're letting her do it because of who she is? But yeah,
The girl peed herself too. Rosa, she peed herself.
oh yeah, she peed herself. Yeah, the minute she turned around and started yelling at the kids, like, all right, she's okay. She's not as innocent as she looks. She's pretty bad at
Let
it.
me ask you guys something real quick. I don't know, but Sister Narcissa was kind of a B, right? Like the way she was.
But they're like that. We used to go to freaking Sunday school, and they're like that. They yell at you that way.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's for me.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
what I mean for being
yeah.
like a nun in this situation.
Oh,
Oh, no,
yeah.
she was a nun. Yeah, she was.
She was in the early stages.
She hasn't took her vows yet, right?
Right, and then thing, she was a celebrity there because they wanted her to be there. So I mean, first act is basically her being there, being put on this pedestal. Second act is her questioning her faith, questioning who she is. Like one beautiful scene in this film, I know Rick's gonna agree with it, is when she's playing with the rosemary beads. No, so she goes like that and it turns blood. That scene was awesome, and I do agree with Joe. The scene where she sees herself levitating, they could have continued a little bit more with that. But it's one of those things where now you're starting to realize she's starting to realize what she like what you mentioned before, what she possibly seen was something demonic the whole time, and she was keeping it within herself. By the time we get to the third act, everything is all gung ho and stuff. And I'll leave the scene where she goes blind, but that was a beautifully shot scene. I love the cinematography on that.
They foreshadowed that scene too when they're
Yes,
talking about the eclipse and you can't look
Yep.
at it.
yes,
I was always raised thinking the same thing. I don't know about you guys, but I never look at the sun.
no,
Eclipse, I stay inside. I don't know about looking at it.
no, and the way
I,
her eyes. Well, I'll leave that scene to you. But yeah, for me, it is a slow burn. It took its time. However, I do like that it took its time because it did remind me a lot of The Witch, the way it kept going and stuff as you get these little trickles of, possibly demonic something there, and then at the end is when everything gets revealed. But for me, she's a hell of an actress. I would love to see her in horror because I think she's definitely a star in the making.
Spain,
Yeah,
movie from
yeah,
Spain.
yeah.
Why is it a lot of Spanish films? They're all from Spain. I've been noticing that.
yeah. But the thing too, imagine if they would add another half an hour to this though to get to the whole.
Nah, I'm good.
That would have been too much. I think they did
No.
perfect. No, because
Yo,
at one
Joe,
point,
mute this guy, bro.
but for me, I'm gonna give this movie a 4. The only reason I'm gonna give it a 4 too is because I do love the cinematography of it. I do love the storytelling of it. It was a slow burn. I'll be honest, in the first couple of minutes of the film, I'm like wondering, all right, what's gonna happen here? Where we going
Well,
from
you
here?
mean after the cold open?
After the cold
Oh.
open, yeah, after the cold open, I'm like, all right, what's going on? What's gonna happen here? But there's sometimes some movies that I do agree with Joe to the degree where he wanted more, but sometimes I feel like if giving it more would have really truly helped the film or took away from the growth of the character and the storyline of the
Yeah,
character.
I think what I would say is the best of both worlds. Like Joe wanted more. Give us more, but take out stuff that's not needed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't add to the runtime. Take out stuff that didn't work and add in
Yeah.
the good stuff.
Yeah, so I'll give it a 4.
What? How about you, Joe, the psychologist? My boy, my beer brother.
What's
What up,
up?
son? What up, son?
As I said, I didn't hate it. I mean, I did almost give myself a black eye with my phone.
By
'Cause
the
it
way,
was
I hate when that happens, bro. You wait.
it woke me the fuck up. So I was ready for the
How
rest
many of
of
you
it.
guys are laying in bed, right? I don't know about Jip. I know when I'm high or drunk or both, and I'm not laying on the bed with my phone
Yep.
watching the video. Also you fall asleep and you drop the phone in your face, bro.
And when you have glasses, it doesn't help
Oh
either,
my God.
because you get the things like right into your nose when it lands right on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was beautifully shot. As I said, it could, knowing it's an origin story, I get it. I am gonna see Veronica because you have to see everything. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. As I said, it's just in the slow parts, like or Rick said, they could have taken some unnecessary stuff out. But however, on the little parts that they did put in there, it felt it was a plot. There were plot holes in there because it kind of really didn't connect to the actual whole story. So I guess you can't make everybody happy, but
Nah.
I give it a 3.5.
Yeah. I give it a 3.5 as well. I was honestly leaning toward the 3 as I'm watching it, not because it was a bad movie, but I think if you take away the cinematography on it, I don't think there's a lot of meat on the bones here. I mean, we've seen this story plenty of times before, right? But I think because the movie was so well made, especially the third act when the eclipse, uh, once that happened and she lost her sight, and I go back to the foreshadowing and then connect that with the fact that this is the character from the Veronica movie. I it just and the reveal, Joe, you guessed it. Kudos for that. I did not. When I saw that she had hung herself and that was her room, we knew that already. But the fact that the chair, the way it was moved, I was like, damn. Okay, that's why they kept showing the fucking chair, and that's pretty cool. But but I would agree with Joe is I did want, like, as far as the demonic presence, I wish it was more sinister in a way.
Yeah, more kids dying, right?
Yeah, you want it more. Yeah, you want it more
Or
dangerous.
nuns, even the nuns.
Yeah, of course.
Well,
Yeah,
you want the kids.
the two main ones got it. So I mean,
Julia hated the kids. Come on.
yeah. But with that being said, though, what I do love, this is a horror film, but guess what, guys? There's rarely any jump scares in this movie at
Right.
all. All the fear is through dread and like, I mean, it just leaves you like with this like you go in there with trepidation, right? Like, oh my god, like there's kids involved for one, and especially after Rosa gets hanged, you're like, okay, now anything can happen now. So I don't know, but the two nightmare scenes, the old lady in the kitchen was fucking great. I was like, nah. Before I knew it was a dream, I was like, nah, get the fuck. You think
Yeah.
somebody's gonna make me eat? When she said, "Oh no, you gotta eat everything whole and taste everything," there's like fucking
You gotta
40
eat it in
plates.
pairs. You gotta eat
Get
it in
the fuck
pairs.
out of here! I would have been nah. She was done for even going along with that. But that again, it's a nightmare scene. So okay, now that makes sense. And when the veil started choking her out and stuff like that, I think those scenes were really effective. I just wish we had. I keep it at that, but I just wish the poltergeist essence of the film. I wanted a bit more of that, and I still don't 100% understand. Like, all right, was it the girl spirit killing the people, or was it
Or with Socorro?
It was
Yeah,
Socorro, because the
I didn't-
girl, the whole thing was, it kind of reminds you of my mom when she lost her kid.
yes,
So she was trapped in the room that whole time. All she wanted to do was get out the room and get to her daughter.
But the kids were afraid of the little girl.
yes,
Right.
Who wouldn't?
Movies,
Yeah.
guys.
No, but I know,
Yeah.
but like,
But
so
remember,
that's
the little
the
girl was
thing.
always
Look at my hat.
help me,
Yo,
help
hold
me,
on.
yeah.
Look at my hat. Look at my hat. Ready?
Inconsistency. The kids were afraid of the little girl, but it was the nun doing it. So why wouldn't the kids think that it would? You know what I mean?
Because
it came up with a
If
story.
I see a spirit though, even if it doesn't
well,
hurt me or
the
not, I'm
kids
gonna
the
be
kids
scared.
thought it was the girl because Julia and the nuns kept the whole secret of the sister. So they knew who it really was, but they kept the secret from the
Who
kids.
left that box in her room then? You're trying to tell
That
me
was
those sisters never bothered to look up there ever?
remember,
Right.
and there was a picture that was taken out. The picture was
That's
Sister
right, and
Socorro
that
was
picture
put
was
there.
in that box, yeah.
Yeah.
With those scissors
Yeah.
that magically would appear in other rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, stuff like that was like, okay, I don't know. But overall, yeah, it's a 3.5. It's really enjoyable. If you like slow burns, if you don't, it's a short film. You know what's funny about this? When it's a slow burn, even short films feel long.
Mhm.
That's the issue with it. But for me, I love the look of this film, the cinematography, and again, it's very loud. So turn the volume down if you always got your sound level high like I do. But yeah, man, I love some of the visuals with like the nightmare sequences and everything else on it. Beautifully edited film. This opening, I gotta say, guys, as far as movies I've seen with the last couple years, this opening was fucking amazing. It's creepy. It felt like documented footage
Yeah.
that they actually took.
Yeah.
And the fact that again it kept cutting away during key pivotal moments, and then you see like that body just wherever that was just reaching out, and the little girl, everyone was like worshiping her, all the crosses around, the music and the aesthetic like cuts within the edit, very well made. That got me instantly hooked, and that's why the slow burn after that didn't bother me as much because I wanted to know what was going on. But yeah, it's a little bit too slow in some areas, but not in a bad way. It depends on how you take it, but it is what it is. But Jared, good pick though. I'll be honest, I was surprised. I didn't read nothing about it,
I never know about
and
it. I just seen
I
something.
kind of wish I never knew it was a prequel to Veronica, because that shit would have blew my mind at the end. I was like, wait a minute, I know that old hag. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this episode of Three Corners of Horror. We're back on Ricky Grimes, my boy JR, my beer brother Joe the psychologist. With that being said, stay healthy, stay sane, stay good, eat well, but most of all, stay scared.